Hi, this is Albert at Hallicrafters Rehabs. Welcome back. And I just finished up, don't need my reading glasses. I just finished up a couple days with my, it's called centenarian father, not octogenarian, not neptogenarian, whatever, but centenarian, 100-year-old father. And that makes me an amateur, I looked that up too, gerontologist. Not somebody who takes geritol, but somebody who studies old people. And maybe I can throw in a tip from here and there, but as always, it's a great time. I used to think that in the field, being in the field, working with the my friends over there, and the things that they did was ice cream and cake on top of the many blessings in life. But now I'll say that these 4 years with my dad and the 2 years I had with my mom was the baked Alaska that followed the cake and ice cream. So I had a great time as always, and Dad's doing good. He has vascular dementia, so he doesn't make memories very well, but we cut up a lot, and it's a good time. So now it's time to start working on the power supply for the Mark I. And so I've mainly just moved into it in terms of just, well, this had to come out anyway. 60-20-20, and I have replacement 22-22 and 68. So that will work just fine. And here's I can't forget this component, a 10,000 ohm resistor between those 2 points. So that's what we're up to now. We'll get this part wired in, and then we'll put the transformer in, and then I think we'll have it complete enough to test the 50 kilohertz mixer box, second IF mixer box. So that's the plan right now. It's been worked on, but they did replace this this output transformer. Didn't do the wiring the way I would do it. It's put a lot of stress on this one switch position, so I've got to hurry and get that fixed. It makes me upset. I'm afraid I'll damage something if I keep that in there long. So that's what's going on right now. And so as the continuing saga of trying to get the power supply connected goes, the next thing up was the BFO coil, which needed to be looked at anyway. And you just go from one connection to the next, and then there's something else involved, and then there's something else involved. Of course, you realize that the power supply is connected to the rest of the radio, so therefore you wind up doing this anyway. But this needed to be done. So there's 2 coils wound in opposition in a BFO. It's beat frequency oscillator. Okay, so it oscillates, and the inductance and the resistance both measured out. So this is a good coil. Tested these micas for leakage, and they were fine. Interesting thing about is in the schematic, and as they did it, there's a 10 picofarad right next to a 560. I think it's 560 picofarad mica. So they're trying to be very precise there. That's ground. This is a tiny grief that was replaced, and so we'll put it back in there and continue on. Polish that up nicely with chrome polish. Well, it's the end of another day, and I finally made it to an end that will make a good breaking point, which is this long terminal leg, for which is associated mostly with AVC and the detector here. And boy, this was the hardest thing. This actually is the hardest part of any restore for these shortwave receivers anyway. And there was no lack of difficulty because basically the values in this, and I didn't even keep track of what was in there before because they're different. I can move this up a little bit, make it in focus. For example, they had 1 megohm and the Mark I and 820K. Oh yeah, okay. Mark 1B and little stuff like that. There was a superfluous 0.022 capacitor that's not in this this schematic. So all kinds of little differences here and there. Instead of the 0.022 from here to here, they put in there's a straight, there's a jumper from here to here in Mark 1B. Yeah, 1B. So tomorrow I can put the transformer in, wire it up, that won't take long, and we'll do some first resistance testing on this thing. And this is enough for one day. Alright, so I got the transformer in and soldered in. And first thing we're going to do is check the power supply out, because if this is wrong, then all the other voltages will be wrong that go through B plus or the filament. So, alright, so I have the table of resistances right here from the good receiver, which is out of view actually, to the right. And I put the power supply back, the transformer back in, got it soldered in, so we need to check that out. So we'll start with looking at the rectifier, and then this is the voltage control 0A2, and then we'll maybe check a couple of these other tubes. Then we'll go on and see how this works, which is, did we wire this up correctly in the first place? So first, I'll go with 3, pin 2, and pin 8 should be in the range of 370. That's overloaded. And 8. And it's not connected somewhere. Great start. Alright. Well, I did find a problem with the wiring. I actually had the wiring swapped between yellow and white. And actually yellow and green go to this function switch, and they determine which side of the oscillator circuit is used in the function of the radio, whether it's for lower sideband or upper or normal or together. So that I got fixed, but there's still some squirrely stuff going on in here, and it's just I'm finding, switches that don't work and things like that. So we're going to have to keep going through. This is going to be the next thing because I think it's the most suspect. There's a mysterious ground someplace and a short someplace too. So we'll have to, it's probably not where I've worked as opposed to where I have worked. I'm pretty sure of where I'm at right here, but then we got to carry on through to this. So I'll put another half a day in on this tomorrow and see how far I can get. But it won't test out properly in resistance, and it's because it's in sad shape right now from this part on. So let's still plug it on. If you eliminate all the usual suspects, then the remaining possibility, no matter how low the probability is likely the one. So I think I've eliminated everything except from this side. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, well, this is as far as I can get done. I did get through the switch. It takes a lot of time to get through there and measure all the resistors and replace the ones. A couple of them, the 220 ohms were okay, but everything else, 470 ohm was okay. The rest were no good. So it's been cleaned up. I'm probably going to be using these wires to connect to the various places inside the radio. This was just done as a way of keeping track of what's connected to what during the process. So that's enough for now. I'll be going back to my father's. He's transitioning to a wheelchair right now, which has its special challenges. So pray for me the next couple days. And it's a lot of work put into this, but that's what it takes to get these things from where they are to where they need to be. This is Hallicrafters Rehabs. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the new subscribers.